To break up the silence, may I sing the Star Spangled Banner? Granted, I have no singing voice, but it'll really change.
How about please? Only if you do it very loud.
No, we shall overcome or America the Beautiful, Chris.
Again, at risk of really hammering that song and being placed in jail. No, I'm not gonna.
Okay, so we have some results. There were 36 votes to overturn the ruling and make Representative Thomas eligible for endorsement, and 39 to uphold the ruling. So Representative Thomas will not be considered eligible for endorsement during this meeting. Thank you all for participating in that debate. We are well behind schedule, so we're going to try to pick things up. Moving on to our block recommended by the board at the last meeting. As mentioned before, it includes 2 ballot measures as well as the candidates who are the only eligible candidates in their race. The first thing we need is a motion to endorse the block as you see it on the slide. So is there a motion to endorse the block as recommended by the executive board?
Motion to endorse.
Thank you, David. Is there a second?
I
Excuse me,
second.
would you please state your name when
Oh.
you make this?
David Toledo, motion to endorse.
Okay,
I second. Catherine Minch.
Okay. Before we move to debate, would any eligible voting members like to amend the block? Patrick, I see your hands up.
Thank you, Jordan. Yeah, I would like to amend the block and remove Commissioner Hasagawa, Commissioner Muhammad, and Commissioner Calkins from the block endorsement.
Okay, removing candidates from the block does not require a second or debate. So the 3 court commissioners are removed from the block.
I would like to know why.
We don't do debate on it. So any eligible voting member can remove a candidate from the block. Before we move into debate on adopting the block endorsement, David, or sorry, got it. Is there any objection to endorsing the block as amended? Any objection to endorsing the block as amended? Any objection to endorsing the block as amended? Seeing none, the block is endorsed without objection. With that, we will move into candidates removed from the block. So because the Port Commissioner number 1 race was removed from the block, we will hear motions to endorse candidates in that race. Are there motions? So as a reminder, the Port of Seattle position, Commissioner position 1 race was Commissioner Hasagawa. Is there a motion to endorse? Chris, I see your hands up. It went away. Okay, is there a motion to endorse candidates for Port Commissioner position 1?
I move to endorse Roxanne Thayer.
Thank you, Roxanne. Is there a second? Chris, I see your hands up.
Chris Porter second. Oh, no, is this all three or just
Just
Asagawa?
Port Commissioner Hasagawa. We
Oh,
have to
okay.
go one at a time.
Okay.
Okay. Roxanne, you made the motion, so the floor is yours for 2 minutes if you would like to do so.
I see the time. I support Hasagawa. She's done work for communities and she serves and voices community concerns and interests.
Thank you, Roxanne. Is there a speaker against the motion to endorse Commissioner Hasagawa?
Besides me,
Did you want to speak in support?
I don't see any hands raised, Patrick, so if you'd like to speak against, you can have the floor.
oh, yes, I would like to speak against. I think Commissioner Hasagawa is probably a good Democrat. I know she's smart. I know she's capable. I know she probably has a future in the party and in her politics, but she's apparently choosing to endorse the expansion of the really toxic and exploitative mega cruise industry in Seattle through the addition of a new cruise terminal. Pardon me?
Keep going, Patrick.
I
Sorry,
don't
someone was
know.
unmuted.
Furthering the corporate assault on the public good by taking advantage of an actual fascist coup that has eliminated federal regulatory oversight of clean air and water, atmospheric carbon monitoring, endangered species protections, community health, and workplace safety conditions. Plans for a new cruise terminal are developing information that hasn't been widely publicized. And I just feel like we ought to at least be discussing this and get clarification before we endorse. And I didn't see it on the questionnaire. I didn't see a cruise specific question on the questionnaire. But it's a big deal, you guys. I mean, cruise is probably a season of Alaska cruise with the airplane travel that brings passengers in is half the GHG output of the entire city of Seattle for a year. So it's a huge toxic climate problem there, and they're just doing business as usual.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. Chris, you were the second on the motion? Or was it? No, there was someone else. Catherine Minch. Chris Porter, were you the second on the motion?
I was, and I was seeing if I was going to defer to Commissioner Nguyen, but maybe I'll just go ahead and speak. Okay. Many of the things we just heard don't embody the great work that Port Commissioner Hasagawa has done. Been a trendsetter, helped setting the port on a course that all of us can believe in. I believe some of the things he said has merit, but the cruise ship issue is one that is an enormity to resolve, even if you take into the consideration that the charge side for ships to dock and run on electricity is not uniform. So there are some that don't have that option, and you can't hold a commissioner responsible for something she didn't design. This really is about whether or not the work she has done, the progress that she has made, what she stood for, do they align with what we believe as Democrats as a reason to endorse her should prevail, and I believe they do. And I encourage everyone to continue supporting her for the great work that she's done. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Is there a second speaker against the motion to endorse Commissioner Hasagawa? Is there a second speaker against the motion to endorse Commissioner Hasagawa? All right, not seeing any hands come up. That will conclude debate. Carla, will you please launch the poll?
Supposed to be double check.
Okay, so we've closed that poll. While we're waiting for results, we're going to move on to the next candidate removed from the block. So because the Commissioner position 3 race was also removed from the block, is there a motion to endorse candidates for Port of Seattle Commissioner position 3? As a reminder, the candidate that was on the block was Hamdi Mohammed. Chris, I see your hands raised.
Yes, I move that we endorse Hamdi Mohammed for Port Commissioner position number 3.
Thank you, Chris. Is there a second?
I'll second. This is Roxanne Thayer.
Thanks, Roxanne. Chris, since you made the motion, you can go ahead and open up debate.
I have known Commissioner for as long as she has, even before she achieved office. She too, like Commissioner Hasegawa, have been trendsetters, have really embodied the challenge of where the port was versus where it is now. I am baffled that their names were even taken off the list for consideration. I think it's easily arguable that she has held true to the reasons that she sought that office, the differences that she's made, what she believes in, how it fits well with what we believe in as Democrats, and certainly embodying a great deal of that hope that things would change. The things lobbied against them in terms of, like, for instance, the cruise ship port design, which no commissioner has control over that. Yes, the problem does persist, but it's not really their fault. It's taking into consideration things like that and weighing it against the true work that she has done, what she believes in, what she brings to the table, the hard work that she's committed to and continues to commit to, and whether or not that is worthy of continued endorsement. And I would say certainly, without question, it is. We need to endorse her. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Is there a speaker against the motion to endorse Commissioner Mohammed? Is there a speaker against the motion? Patrick, your hand's raised. Go ahead.
Again, since I'm talking about all 3 commissioners here, I'm just going to fill in a little. I certainly won't vote against any of these 3 commissioners in the campaign based on who I think is probably going to run against them. But I want to make it just so crystal clear that this is about, it's about carbon, and it's about climate, and it's about a clock that's more important than anything else, really. We got to pay attention to this. And as long as these 3 commissioners are pursuing business as usual with major polluters, as long as they're asking for a second airport, as long as they're asking for a new cruise terminal, this is, we can't ignore this. We got to pay attention to it. And maybe this is a way, maybe withholding an endorsement is it a way to get them to see, I got to shake it up here. I got to change this. We got to do business as usual. We got to do business differently than business as usual. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Roxanne, you were the second, so the floor is yours.
I agree with everything that Chris said, and I'd also like to speak with Patrick McKee further on this issue. He is correct; it's a big issue, and I'd like to speak with him further. But I also concur with what Chris Porter said. Thank you, Chris, and I'm done. Thanks.
Thanks, Roxanne. Is there a second speaker against the motion to endorse Commissioner Mohammed? Is there a second speaker against the motion to endorse Commissioner Mohammed? All right, seeing none, we'll conclude debate on this motion. Carla, will you please launch the poll for position 3? And while everyone is voting on that, we got results for the Port of Seattle Commissioner position 1. Commissioner Hasegawa got 59 votes in support. There were only 13 votes for no endorsement, which means Commissioner Hasegawa is endorsed with almost 82% of the vote. Just as a reminder, while we're here, if you are not an eligible voting member and you know it, please do not vote. Every person who votes who is not an eligible voting member slows down our program a little bit. So by staying out of it, you help us move things along efficiently. So thank you.
Jordan, Rachel has her hand up.
Yeah, Rachel, go ahead.
Thank you. Just a point of clarity again.
you said that she is endorsed. Does that mean endorsed, like endorsed, or just back on the list to vote on endorsement later? Are we endorsing those people now? Those folks?
These votes are to endorse candidates who were removed from the block.
But
So
just to put them back on the list for later vote of endorsement this evening, or is,
no, we are voting on them right now.
okay, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Anne, for the playoff music. Okay, while we wait on results for position 3, we will move on to Port Commissioner position 4 because it was also removed from the block. So now we'll hear motions to endorse candidates for Port of Seattle Commissioner position 4. Are there any motions to endorse candidates? As a reminder, the candidate included on the block was Ryan Calkins. Chris, I see your hands up.
If nobody else wants to, and I'm happy to, I move that we endorse Ryan Kalk for Commissioner, Port Commissioner. This is position 3?
4.
4, excuse me, 4.
This is
Thank you,
Adam
Chris. Is there
J,
a-
second.
Thank you, Adam. Chris, since you made the motion, you're free to start debate.
Again, I don't know how many times I can say this, but I would want to address something very specific, which keeps coming up, which is this carbon issue, which is real. And I've heard all of the 3 candidates talk about wanting to intervene, and that to include Ryan. And one of the things about the newer cruise terminal that they think will accomplish is resolving this issue of only allowing or only cruise ships with the plug-in port, I think on the port side or whatever the terminology is, that can use it. The newer terminal is supposed to address that, thereby drastically reducing the carbon output when cruise ships come to terminals. So it's not like they have been blindly there doing business as usual. They've really been taking the time to learn the issues, think about options, trying to implement those options and address them appropriately. In terms of the airport, and I know that Commissioner Calkins has talked about this too, we can't ignore that it's a bigger city, it's a bigger county, it's a bigger state, and people want to travel more. The bigger issue is whether or not producers of the planes are keeping pace with that in terms of trying to make planes that have less carbon output and impact on the environment. But we know that everyone who's flown, it is a nightmare to get in and out of this airport that was put in place decades ago to accommodate a much smaller population than what we have now. So unless we ban people from flying, I think the commissioners are right to try to address the ways in which this county and the port and the airports that they govern have grown and the increased needs that they have. So please continue to support Commissioner Calkins. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Is there a speaker against the motion to endorse Ryan Calkins for Port position 4? Patrick, go ahead.
Yeah, again, I want to clarify that I actually have a lot of respect for all 3 of these commissioners. But respectfully, Chris, this issue of shore power in the new cruise terminal is sort of a canard. A cruise ship that's out for a week is out for 168 hours and spends about 6 hours hooked up to shore power, which is what, 4%, something like that, 4% reduction in carbon from shore power. Meanwhile, a new cruise terminal is going to amp up the number of cruises something like 40%. So the math just doesn't work. And this is the math that's going to this is not our math, it's our kids' math, and it's our grandkids' math, and it's the math of people towards the equator who are really getting hit with climate change first. We've got to do something different. And as long as our port commissioners don't go, this carbon clock is ticking, we need to do real measures. Shore power is a palliative measure. It's good for the people that work in the, I'm for it. It's good for the people that work in the port and the people that live near the port, but it doesn't affect carbon in the climate at all. And regarding the airport, come on, guys. Yeah, we can build a new airport somehow, but that's not solving. We got a deeper problem here. Do the work, figure out the real solutions here, and that's what they're not doing. So that's why I'm opposed to all of them, as much as I respect all of them. Thank you, and I respect you guys too, by the way. This process has been civil, and it's a new one for me. So thanks.
Thank you, Patrick. Adam, you were the second for the motion, so if you would like, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I just want to say I think all of the port commissioners are doing a really great job on their electrification plans. I mean, there's hundreds of millions of dollars that the port has to invest and plans to invest over the next years to address their carbon inputs. I think we should judge the commissioners based on the things that they actually have control over. And the big things like cruise ships and airplanes are things that really realistically are going to have to be solved at a higher level, because Seattle isn't the only places that those cruise ships go. It's not the only place that those airplanes go. So we need to judge the commissioners on what they have control over, and I think they're doing a really good job.
Thank you, Adam. Is there a second speaker against the motion to endorse Ryan Calkins for Port Commission Position 4? Is there a second speaker against? All right, seeing no hands raised, we'll conclude debate on, conclude debate on the endorsement of Ryan Calkins and move into our vote. So Carla, will you please launch the poll? And while we're casting our votes here, we have results for Port Commission Position 3. There were 60 votes in favor of endorsing Commissioner Mohammed, only 9 for no endorsement. So Commissioner Mohammed has gotten the endorsement with almost 87% of the vote.
Jordan, while we're waiting on the votes for Brianna, my Zoom cut out, so I missed the results of the vote. Is that something you can share again?
Yes, so there were 36 votes to overturn the ruling that Representative Thomas was not eligible for endorsement at this time. There were 39 to uphold that ruling. So because overturning the ruling did not reach a simple majority support, the ruling was upheld.
Thank you. So
And we'll be right back after these announcements.
If only we had more sponsors. Okay, so we're closing that. And while we wait on results for that vote, we'll move into our regularly scheduled program. The first endorsement scheduled is for Highland School Board Director District 4. Do I have a motion to endorse candidates for this race?
Motion.
Carla,
Carla Rogers, endorsing Damaris Espinoza.
gotta get a second. Celia is seconding. Okay, so we have Carla Rogers with the motion. Just for our minutes, and Seeley is seconding. Steve, are there any, so Damaris is the only eligible candidate for this race. So we'll close motions for endorsement. Carla, since you made the motion for Damaris, you can start debate.
And thank you for working your 2-week notice.
Thanks, Jordan. After working a campaign 2 years ago in Highline Schools, a campaign in which a legit Moms for Liberty candidate beat my candidate by about 700 votes, I was glad to come to know the work of Damaris Espinoza. Damaris was appointed in March of this year to represent District 4 on the Highline School Board when that same Moms for Liberty candidate couldn't handle the work that was before her on the board. I'm happy to represent her this evening as she performs her duties as an executive in an executive session. She's the daughter of a Mexican immigrant parents, a graduate of public schools, and a first generation college grad with a PhD. She also has 3 children who are in or already in the school system. During the appointment process, she impressed me with her work in public policy, including health initiatives in local and state government. She started working as a paraeducator and has taught at the university level, including serving currently as a professor at the UW. She is the Chief Equity and Policy Officer for Mary's Place, which serves families experiencing homelessness in the Highline community. Her priorities include cultivating student growth through a holistic model of support, empowering educators and staff to excel, and encouraging the role of strong families in connected communities. In the face of the Moms for Liberty movement, I could not be more excited to motion for the endorsement of Damaris, and I encourage you all to join me in voting for her.
Thank you, Carla. Is there any speaker against endorsing Damaris Espinoza for Highline School Board Director, District 4? Any speakers against the motion? Seeing no hands raised, we'll close debate. And we will move into a vote. So Carla, will you please launch the poll? And while we are casting our votes here, we have results for the Port of Seattle Commissioner Position 4 race. There were 61 votes in favor of Ryan Calkins' endorsement, only 9 for no endorsement. So Ryan has earned the endorsement with just over 87% of the vote.
Jordan, Steve Butts has his finger up.
All right, Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, did we vote on the block yet? I don't.
We did. I asked for if we did a unanimous consent. There was no.
Oh, no, okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, so we've closed that poll. And we will move on while we're waiting for results from that to the next one on our agenda today, which is Burien City Council Positions 1. Are there any motions to endorse candidates for Burien City Council Position 1? Any motions to endorse candidates for Burien City Council position 1? I was waiting to, I can't see that.
Can you remind us who's in position 1?
Sorry, yes, that's Hugo Garcia and is the incumbent.
I move for Hugo Garcia, please.
Thank you, Councilmember Mosqueda. Is there a second?
Seconded, Elizabeth Heath.
Patricia, are you in the meeting?
Yes, I
Patricia
am,
Hudson?
but
Okay.
yes, I was going to second, but that's okay. Thank you.
Sorry, well, so you were the one who the candidate said was their preference, so we'll put Patricia Hudson as the formal second. Councilmember Mosqueda, since you're the, actually, before we move on to debate, are there any other motions for endorsement for candidates in this race? Any other motions for endorsing candidates in Burien City Council position 1? Okay, seeing one, we will close motions for endorsement for this race. Councilmember Mosqueda, since you were the one to make the motion, you can open up debate if you would like.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to chat with you all. It's great to see you. Congratulations on an incredible evening on Saturday night, 34th. I'm here to support Hugo Garcia again for Burien City Council. As folks know, this is absolutely the time for us to have strong progressives, especially at the local level when we think about local jurisdictions being our last line of defense, our first line of offense, pushing forward progressive agendas that really help lift up working families, support people in having access to housing, ensuring people's basic human rights are respected. What we've seen with Councilmember Garcia in his time is that he is not shy about speaking truth to power. He will always center the work that he does with working families and the most vulnerable. He comes from an immigrant family and he has given himself, his career, his life back to this community. In fact, he's given it back to this community because his family has roots there. That is why he is not here tonight, because he's taking care of a loved one within his family. He cares so much about ensuring that people have economic stability. What we've seen in Hugo is the opportunity for someone to stand up and fight for the ability to increase the minimum wage to a higher standard so that more people have money in their pocket so they can spend it at small businesses. Councilmember Garcia has also stood with small businesses and entrepreneurs, making sure that people have economic stability in Burien, can open up their own shop. And every time I meet with him and he brings me in to meet with community members, he's constantly bringing me into a new small business to taste their food, to try out their products, and to meet people who live within District 8 and within the 34th. Councilmember Garcia is absolutely committed to making sure that we center our democratic values around affordability and opportunity for all. I cannot think of a better champion to continue, especially under this federal administration, to lift up the rights of workers, fight for the most vulnerable community members, including immigrants and refugees, and ensure that everyone has access to a good living wage job, can start their own small business. Please support Hugo.
Thank you, Councilmember Mosqueda. Are there any speakers against the endorsement of Hugo Garcia for Burien City Council position 1? Any speakers against the endorsement of Councilmember Hugo Garcia for Burien City Council position 1? All right, seeing no hands raised, we will move on from debate and launch the poll for this. And while we are casting our votes for this one, we have results from the Highline School Board Director District 4. So there were 59 votes in favor of endorsing Damaris Espinoza and only 3 cast for no endorsement. So Damaris has our endorsement with over 95% of the vote.
What? No. No.
Hey, Julie, what's going on? I see your hands up. You have a question?
Can you repeat the last results you just gave?
Yes. So it's for Highline School Board Director District 4. Damaris Espinoza had 59 votes in favor of endorsement. There were only 3 votes cast for no endorsement. So she
Okay.
has earned our endorsement with just over 95% of the vote.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And the winner is not?
The envelope.
Thanks for
All
the
right,
levity,
well-
Chris.
While we're waiting on the results for that position, we'll move on to our next one, which is Burien City Council Position 3. Do I have any motions to endorse candidates for Burien City Council Position 3? Steve, I see your hands up.
Yes, I'd like to move to endorse Sam Mendez.
Thank you, Steve. Is there a second?
Chris, second. Chris Porter, second.
Thank you, Chris. Any more motions to endorse candidates for Burien City Council Position 3? Sarah, I see your hands
Yeah,
up.
this is Sarah Leone. I motion to endorse Rochelle Lasowski for position 3.
Thank you, Sarah. Is there a second to endorse Rochelle Lasowski for Burien City Council Position 3?
Second, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel. Those two being the only eligible candidates for endorsement in this position, we will consider the motions closed. So we'll move on to debate because Sam received the motion first. That will be the first candidate we debate. So Steve, since you made the motion, you can open up debate.
Okay. Yeah, Sam's been showing up for his community since he moved to Burien in 2020. He's served on numerous boards, including Burien's Hospitality House for homeless women, and is as vice chair of the 33rd Democrats. He's already been widely endorsed, including the 33rd Democrats, King County Democrats, and by King County Council member Teresa Mosqueda, as well as Superintendent for Public Lands Chris Riegdahl. He's running in a slate along with Sarah Moore, Hugo Garcia, and Rocco DeVito. Together, they are all seeking a progressive Democratic majority on the Burien City Council. Sam is running to see improvements in housing affordability, safe streets for pedestrians and bicyclists, and for government transparency. The 34th recognized Sam's leadership right off the bat, and we named him our Rising Star of the Year in 2021. Although we lost him to redistricting, he continues to deliver for Burien. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Are there any speakers against the endorsement of Sam Mendez for Burien City Council Position 3? Any speakers against the endorsement of Sam Mendez for Burien City Council Position 3? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to debate for Rochelle Lasowski. Sorry, remind me.
Sarah Leone.
Sarah Leone was the person to make the motion. So Sarah, since you made the motion, you get to open up debate for Rochelle's endorsement.
Yeah, and I would actually like to cede my time to have Rochelle speak on behalf of herself.
Okay, Rochelle, feel free to go.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's great to meet those of you that I haven't met. My name's Rochelle Lasowski, and I'm running for Burien City Council to put people over political connections and to bring more working class leadership to the council. I'm a renter, a small business owner, 30 years old, worked in the service industry for over a decade, and have been a community organizer for just as long. I've fought for working families for more than 10 years, organizing in campaigns for tenant protections, lower cost prescription drugs, affordable childcare, a high minimum wage, and other worker protections and rights for working families. It's clear to me that a lot of people have, more knowledge about the local party organization system and just the different, connections that exist within this system of endorsements, Robert's rules, and you name it. But I really think that that's part of the problem and why our Democratic Party is aging so rapidly. I consider myself to be a progressive Democrat. I think that the unique perspectives, the lived experiences that I have had, lived experiences like that of a renter, that of someone who had a mother, that became addicted to methamphetamine at a young age, and someone who knows what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck is really important and is currently missing from our council. Unlike those in the race, pretty much everyone else, I am not hiring a political consultant. We waste more than $60 million per year during elections on political consultants that do political marketing. And for me, I would love to see that money invested in long-term organizing infrastructure and into recruitment for vibrant parties like the Democratic Party as it used to be. So for that reason, I think it's really important that we open up spaces like this to different and new leaders, and I respectfully ask for your endorsement. Thank you.
Thank you. Rochelle, is there a speaker against the endorsement of Rochelle Lisowski for Burien City Council position 3? Any speakers against the endorsement of Rochelle Lisowski for Burien City Council position 3? Okay, so seeing none, we'll move on from debate on candidates and into a vote. Carla, will you please launch the poll? And while we're casting our votes there, we have results for Burien City Council position 1. There were 60 votes cast in favor of endorsing Councilmember Hugo Garcia, only 2 cast for no endorsement. So Hugo has earned our endorsement with just shy of 97% on the vote.
So what does that mean?
It means the 2 minutes.
Kidding.
So while we're waiting on results from that one, we'll move on to the next one, which is King County Executive. Are there motions for endorsement for King County Executive? Director Nguyen, I see your hands up.
Yeah, I move that we endorse Councilmember Dramai Zahalai.
Second.
Thank you. We got Joe in, and that was Bunny Hatcher, Steve, for the minutes. Are there any other motions to endorse candidates for King County Executive? Ted, I see your hands raised.
Hi, Ted Barker. I move that we endorse County Councilmember Claudia Balducci.
Thank you, Ted. Is there a second?
Second, Nick Bonazza.
Thank you, Nick. Those being the only two eligible candidates for our endorsement, we will move on from motions and into debate. Director Nguyen, since you made the motion to endorse Council Chair Zahalai, you can open up debate.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate this
Joe.
time. You know, for folks who don't know, can you guys hear me okay? I just heard somebody say my name.
Yeah, you're good to go.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Well,
perfect.
Joe.
I'm in Othello at the moment, so my Wi-Fi is pretty spotty. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just jump in. So hopefully it's okay. First off, thank you so much. For those who don't know, I am born and raised in the 34th, live in the 34th, raised my family in the 34th, had the distinct privilege of serving as a state senator in this community as well, and such an honor to be with this phenomenal group. Councilmember Zahalai has been a unique talent that we have in Washington State, especially in this moment right now. I think of the many things that he's done as it relates to crisis centers, raising minimum wage, fighting for workers' rights. He has a number of endorsements of people we care about in this community: Governor Ferguson, Pramila Jayapal, Nick Brown. I think the most important thing actually for me isn't so much the accolades that he's accomplished in his work and the endorsements that he's received. It's actually the work that he's done to help empower other people. In my mind, great leaders do more than just good things. They empower others to be successful as well. And that's how you actually get transformative change in our communities. And right now you see him in Build the Bench programs, helping our next generation of leaders get more active. You see him reflect communities that oftentimes are not represented in these halls. And what comes to mind oftentimes too, as a son of immigrants who escaped a war-torn Vietnam, right now, the Trump administration has banned travel from Sudan, one of the birthplaces of his parents as well. So you're going to get a leader in this moment who has a lived experience that reflects the communities, who has a deep experience in the community writ large, and has had a history of fighting for folks in the 34th in Washington State and even beyond. So it would be an honor to support Girmay in this election. I think he is a unique person for this role in this moment, and I would urge the body for their support.
Thank you, Director Nguyen. Is there a speaker against the endorsement of King County Council Chair Zahalai for endorsement? Any speaker against? Any speaker against? All right, seeing no hands up, we will move on to debate on the endorsement of Councilmember Claudia Balducci. Tad, since you made the motion, you are welcome to open up debate.
Thank you, Jordan. Ted Barker, I'm about a 10-year member of the E-Board of the 34th, and I'm currently one of your 2 representatives to the State Central Committee. Right now, King County is facing huge challenges, both internal and external. And we need a leader that has a track record of making improvements to the lives of people in this county. Our county is a very diverse, or not our county, excuse me, the 34th is a very diverse area. It ranges from urban areas, city of Seattle, small towns, to unincorporated areas with quite a different range of needs. And we need someone who has served all these type areas and knows how to make things better. You know, I've primarily in my years in the 34th lived in Seattle, and what we need is housing and transportation. Claudia Balducci has brought light rail to the east side. She has provided market rate housing, paved the way for that, permanent supporting housing, and assistance to our unhoused neighbors, which we need throughout this LD. And she has shown that she can do that. She's also been a progressive on the east side, as we have seen tonight. Our candidates for the state legislature don't even draw opponents here. She hasn't had that luxury. She knows how to fight. She knows how to get elected. She won a Maggie Award in 2015 for flipping a county council seat blue that was held by a 20-year Republican incumbent. So she's shown that she can do that. And so I think that she would be the choice for the 34th and for the county to be the next county executive. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Is there a speaker against the endorsement of Councilmember Claudia Balducci for King County Executive? Any speaker against? Is there any speaker against? All right, seeing none, we will close debate and move into a vote. Carla, will you please launch the poll? Thank you. And while we are casting our votes there, we have results for Burien City Council Position 3. There were 16 votes cast in favor of endorsing Rochelle Wasowski, 47 for the endorsement of Sam Mendez, and 2 for no endorsement, which means Sam Mendez has earned our endorsement with just over 72% of the vote. So congratulations, Sam. All right, so we are closing that poll. In the meantime, we will move on to the Seattle City Attorney's race. So are there motions to endorse candidates for Seattle City Attorney? Chris, I see your hands raised.
Yes, I move to endorse Rory O'Sullivan for Seattle City Attorney.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second. Steve Butts.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Are there any more motions to endorse candidates for Seattle City Attorney? Carla, I see your hands raised.
I motion to endorse Erica Evans.
Thank you. Is there a second to endorse Erica Evans? Bunny, I see your hands up.
Yes, I second to endorse Erica.
Thank you. Any more motions to endorse candidates for Seattle City Attorney? Chris, is your hand up to make another motion?
Sorry, it was broken.
Okay. Any more motions for endorsement for Seattle City Attorney? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to debate. Chris, since you made the motion for Rory, you're welcome to open up debate.
Hi, and thank you. I stand or at least appear in front of Zoom to support the nomination endorsement of Rory O'Sullivan. I've known him for quite some time, even back when he was chair of the 37th. And there he was just dynamic at standing up for what he believed in and trying to make a better place and space for that. He's worked on projects and been involved in the community, like for Fair Vote Washington, served as on the Seattle Redistricting Commission. And I want to give kudos to anyone who served on any redistricting community, regardless of party affiliation, because it's just riddled with a challenge. And helping to pass the I-940, the Police Accountability Initiative. And I think anyone can easily arguably say that we applaud the efforts to bring a better community sense and safety around our policing that we've seen in the city of Seattle. And I was glad that he was involved in leading the charge to do that. But more importantly, he has already lended us his voice in terms of what's happening with that, with the City of Seattle Attorney's Office. He's written a number of op-eds in Urbanist calling out things like when Trump issued those executive orders, Ann Davidson was silent on wage theft. She'd been silent, but doing a lot of work to talk about the problem of wage theft, of people working 80 hours only being paid for 40 and being denied that overtime. And then when they attempt to speak up, be with threats of calling ICE and then having it buried in process in the city attorney's office. These are things that he has spoken out against. And so he's loaned us his voice. He's ready, he's up and he's running. He's proven himself. This is a person who is already got a running start and destined to change the course of that city attorney's office. Please support Rory O'Sullivan.
Thank you, Chris. Is there any speaker against the endorsement of Rory O'Sullivan for Seattle City Attorney? Any speaker against endorsing Rory for Seattle City Attorney? Any speaker against? Seeing none, we'll move on to debate for the endorsement of Erica Evans. Carla, since you made the motion, you can open up debate.
Thank you, Jordan. Removing Ann Davidson from office is really my top priority in this cycle, but I am absolutely convinced that Erica Evans will use her experience as a prosecutor at both the city and federal levels to represent all of Seattle. I hope you will join me in selecting Erica for endorsement. And with that, I will cede the rest of my time to Erica.
Thank you so much, Carla. And hello, everyone from the 34th. It was an excellent event we had together on Saturday, and I'm really excited to be here. I think it's important. We talked about this unprecedented times we're seeing right now with the Trump administration, and someone that has actual experience at a federal level is really key right now. And that's the experience I bring. I've tried many cases, more cases than anyone else in this office at a federal constitutional level. And that is so important at a time like this. I think another thing, we talked about a few things just now, like with wage theft, but I'm the only candidate in this race that's actually held bad employers accountable for wage theft. So understanding the nuances of that work, because I've led those investigations and done it, it's what I'm going to be doing on day one. I'm the only candidate that's actually also worked in the city attorney's office before, so there will be no learning curves. I've also served as president of the Lauren Miller Bar Association, and we too were a huge part in leading the efforts on I-940. Another thing that I've worked on is House Bill 2567, which is the Open Courts for All Act, which prohibits court personnel from calling ICE to report on people in our local governments, in our local courts. I think the last thing is just the coalition of people behind us. We have the sole endorsement of our Attorney General, Nick Brown, Alexis Mercedes Rink, and many others. And I would love your support, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Erica. Is there any speaker against the endorsement of Erica Evans for Seattle City Attorney? Any speaker against the endorsement of Erica for Seattle City Attorney? Okay, seeing no hands up, we will close debate. But before we move on to voting for this one, we have results for the county executive ballot, which turns out will be our first ballot. So there were 34 votes cast for Councilmember Claudia Balducci, 35 cast for Council Chair Gurmai Zahale, which means neither candidate broke the 60% threshold required to earn an endorsement on the first ballot. As far as our process is concerned, that means we automatically move into a second ballot, which includes only those two candidates for consideration. So we will launch that poll first to see where we end up on the executive race, and then we'll do back to back. So as soon as that one closes, we'll open up the first ballot for Seattle City Attorney.
I hear alive with the sound of music. No.
That was beautiful, Chris. Thank you. Okay, so we've closed that poll, and we will get results on that one shortly. And we will move right into the vote for Seattle City Attorney. The options on this first ballot will be Rory O'Sullivan, Erica Evans, and the option for no endorsement. Sorry about that. Nathan Rouse was included on that ballot, so we will edit and relaunch in a second.
to vote again.
Just a reminder for everyone in the meeting, this is a brand new poll, so if you've cast your vote previously, you'll need to do that again. Steve, I see your hands up.
Yes, was there a count on the no endorsement for King County exec?
Nobody voted for no endorsement.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry. So it was 34 for Councilmember Albucci, 35 for Council Chair Zahalai, and 0 for no endorsement.
Gotcha.
We're just waiting on some results on these ballots to come through, and then we will see where we go from there. Thank you all for hanging on. There's still over 90 of us in this meeting, which is crazy. All right, now we just got some results in for the second ballot for the county executives race. There were 30 votes cast for Councilmember Claudia Balducci, 35 cast for Council Chair Gurmai Zahalai, which means neither candidate reached the 60% threshold required for support. As far as the process goes, again, this means that neither candidate is endorsed following that second ballot. However, there is an opportunity for motions for dual endorsement. For those who are not familiar with what dual endorsement means, if there's a motion and a second for dual endorsement, we will debate the question of whether or not to endorse the two candidates who were on the second ballot. So Councilmembers Balducci and Zahalai. If the vote, so there is no vote on whether or not to dual endorse in terms of the actual motion itself, but we just go straight to a ballot where we're voting on, do we endorse the two candidates or don't we? In the past, we used to double up these ballots and it got pretty confusing. So there's just one ballot. Do we endorse both candidates? Do we not? Is there a motion for dual endorsement for King County Executive? Bunny, I see your hands up.
I would, we're so lucky to have an abundance of good candidates. I would move that we consider a dual endorsement for Gurmai Zahalai and Claudia Balducci for King County Executive.
Chris Porter.
Thank you, Bunny. And thank you, Chris. Bunny, since you made the motion, you're welcome to open up debate.
Thank you. As I said, we're very lucky in the 34th and in King County in general that we have some really good candidates and we have a lot of them. And I think that for two reasons. Number one, candidates deserve to be able to say that they have our endorsement. King County Democratic Central Committee has also dual endorsed these two candidates. And this enables the candidates to say that they have our endorsement, and that matters. And I think that it's important that we give our candidates that we show such support for the opportunity to put on their literature that they have our endorsement. And I'm done with my time.
All right, thank you, Bonnie. Is there any speaker against dual endorsement of council members Balducci and Zahalai? Any speaker against? Is there any speaker against? Okay, seeing none, we will move into a vote for a dual endorsement of council members Balducci and Zahalai. And while we are casting our votes there, we have some results for the Seattle City Attorney's endorsement. There were 43 votes cast for Erica Evans, 18 for Rory O'Sullivan, and 4 for no endorsement, which means that Erica Evans has earned our endorsement with just over 66% of the vote. So congratulations, Erica. All right, closing that poll, we will move on to our next one, which is Seattle City Council Position 8. So are there motions to endorse candidates for Seattle City Council Position 8? David, I see your hand up.
Yeah. Motion to endorse Ray A. Rogers for Seattle City Council Position 8.
Thank you, David. Chris Lampkin, I see your hands up.
Motion to endorse Councilmember Alexis Mercedes Rank.
Second, this is
I would like
Teresa.
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry, David. I guess sorry to everyone. Was there a second to endorse Ray Rogers for Seattle City Council Position 8? Is there a second to endorse Ray Rogers for Seattle City Council Position 8? Is there a second to endorse Ray Rogers for Seattle City Council Position 8?
I'll second. This is Steve Butts.
Thank you, Steve. Is there a second to endorse Alexis Mercedes Rink for Seattle City Council Position 8?
Second, Carter Rogers.
Second, McDermott.
All of us.
Heard it.
Everybody.
Yeah. All of us.
Just 1 second. Okay, so Carla, I got you first, so we'll go with you. Those being the only 2 candidates who are eligible for endorsement in this race, we will move forward with debate. David, since you made the first motion, you are welcome to open it up.
Yeah, first thing I need to say is that's heartbreaking that you guys would jump in and say all of us. That's so disrespectful. That's just terrible. I hope you rethink how you treat people in the future. Now I'd like to talk about Bishop Rogers. And I'd like to start out by saying that Bishop Rogers is a lifelong Seattleite who has put his whole life towards helping underserved communities. Bishop went through the crack epidemic and the gang violence of Seattle in the 1990s. He was caught up in that, and because of that, he ended up homeless, addicted, and he was saved from that lifestyle by Officer Harry Bailey, who took an interest in him and really helped him get out of that lifestyle. And for the past 20 years, Bishop Rogers has been a frontline service provider, giving his time and his life to helping reduce gun violence, working to get kids out of gangs, violence intervention, helping teens get out of sex trafficking and domestic violence situations. And Ray is supporting the public safety gains that we've seen in recent years. And because of that, he's supported by council members Nelson and Rivera and Solomon. He brings a unique perspective that only someone with lived experiences on both sides of the issues can bring. Frontline, lived experiences. His opponent wants to take the council back to the policies that hurt Seattle. Ray wants to help the council move forward with the public safety gains of the last 2 years. And with that, I'll cede my time to Ray.
Okay, Ray, you have about 10 seconds.
Again, thank you so very much, David, for those kind words. And to
Thank you. Is there a speaker against the endorsement of Ray Rogers for Burien City Council, or sorry, Seattle City Council Position 8? Any speaker against the endorsement of Ray Rogers for Seattle City Council Position 8? Chris Lamb, can I see your hands up? Are you speaking against?
No, speaking for Councilmember Rank.
Okay, so seeing no hands up to speak against Ray Rogers for endorsement to Position 8, we'll move on to debate for Councilmember Rink. Chris, feel free to take it away.
I am Chris Lampkin, a member of the 34th, proud West Seattle dad, and I'm speaking in favor of Councilmember Alexis Mercedes Rank. I'm speaking in favor of her because she is an organizer who is organized, who is bringing people together, not just across our city, but from the cities in our region together to tackle some of our biggest problems. She is somebody who has stood next to me, supporting our unions on the line, and she is someone who has put her body on the line, standing with our immigrant neighbors, going to the federal building today as we see our cities under siege with these ICE attacks. And I could speak further, but I'm not going to because she is more than equipped, and I cede my time to the council member.
Thank you for those kind words, Chris, and good evening, everybody. It's great seeing so many familiar faces. I know I saw a lot of y'all on Saturday. My name is Alexis Mercedes Rank. I'm a renter and someone who takes the bus to work every day, and I went from waiting tables next to the Space Needle to working on policy at the UW Tower to now serving you on Seattle City Council, fighting for a city that works for all of us and not just the wealthy few. And in my work across communities, I've gained a reputation for bringing people together around solutions and making things happen. I got my master's degree at the UW, and since then I've worked across 39 cities and with over 100 different organizations on housing and health for our communities. And since joining council, I've partnered with our state delegation in pushing for new statewide progressive revenue options, successfully defended against the attacks on our city's ethics code, which would have allowed council members to vote on even if they had a financial conflict of interest, and I've sponsored new legislation to support more affordable housing development. And in times of national strife, Seattle must stand as a beacon of hope and resilience. And as we confront a federal administration determined to attack our rights and protect the wealthy at the expense of working people, I've spearheaded our city's fight against the Trump administration, creating and chairing a new council committee focused on combating federal policy changes. We had a record-breaking win last year, and with nearly 70 endorsements, we are continuing to do the work of uniting Seattle. This is the campaign that Planned Parenthood Alliance Advocates Trust is going to fight for reproductive health care access. This is the campaign that unions representing frontline workers from bus drivers, nurses, machinists, they trust that we're going to fight tirelessly for working families. And this is the campaign that the 37th, 46th, 36th, and 32nd LD Democrats Trust is going to stand by and fight for core Democratic Party values. And now I'm asking for your support so we can unite and fight the politics of fascism together and build a Seattle that truly works for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris Lampkin, and thank you, Councilmember Rink. Is there any speaker against the endorsement of Councilmember Rink for Seattle City Council Position 8? Any speaker against? Is there any speaker against? Seeing no hands come up, we will move on from debate for this position and into a vote. And while we are casting our votes there, we do have some results to share for the dual endorsement of King County Executive candidates with 59 votes in favor of a dual endorsement and 8 opposed. We are endorsing both Councilmembers Balbucci and Zahalai for King County Executive with just over 88% of the vote. So congratulations, both of you. All right, so we have ended that poll. And while we're waiting on results, we will move on to our next endorsement, which is Seattle City Council Position 9. Are there any motions to endorse candidates for Seattle City Council Position 9? Senator Alvarado, I see your hands up.
Thanks, Jordan. I move to endorse Dion Foster.
Thank you, Senator. Is there a second?
I'll second that. Russell McQuarrie.
Thanks, Russell. Are there any other motions to endorse candidates for Seattle City Council Position 9? Any other motions to endorse candidates for Seattle City Council Position 9? Any other motions to endorse candidates for Seattle City Council Position 9? All right, seeing none, we will close motions to endorse. Senator Alvarado, since you made the motion to endorse Dion Foster, you are welcome to open up debate.
Thank you. Well, I've had the privilege to work with Dion at the City of Seattle, and she's smart, she's collaborative, and she's a true public servant. She really cares about a future of Seattle for all people, not just special interests. She respects public engagement. She'll make progress on affordability and get things done for working people and families like she has her whole career. We need real leadership right now on Seattle City Council, and that's Dion, and I'll cede the rest of my time.
Thank you, Emily, and thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure to meet so many folks over the weekend at the Black Legacy Institute. My name is Dion Foster. I'm so excited to be running for Position 9, and I want to share a few things about myself with you. As Emily said, I've been a public servant. I have worked in City Hall, excuse me, on youth employment, on climate, on ensuring that we are building a city that works for everyone. I've spent the last 8 years working in philanthropy, investing in community-based organizations, investing in groups who have been fighting investing for fair housing practices, investing in work for reproductive justice, investing in community organizing and reforms to the criminal justice system. And I'm really excited to bring that experience, that professional experience to City Hall. In addition, I'm excited to bring my lived experience to City Hall. I am somebody who I have a 12-year-old son. When I had my son, I was on Apple Health, and I would not have been able to afford having him or afford buying my house, which I bought with Seattle Down Payment Assistance, if it wasn't for good government programs. I know how important and how life-changing good government programs can be, and I also know what it's like to stand up to powerful interests. I was part of the team last year that helped defend our state's capital gains tax. When billionaires were trying to roll it back, we stood firm. I'm really proud that this campaign has been endorsed by Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, by the 37th LD, the 46th LD, the 32nd LD, and I would love the endorsement. Oh, excuse me, I said 32nd. Yes, and I would love the endorsement of the 36th. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Senator Alvarado, and thank you, Dion. Since there are, or I guess, is there a speaker against the motion to endorse Dion Foster for Seattle City Council position 9? Any speakers against the endorsement of Dion Foster for Seattle City Council position 9? Any speakers against? Okay, seeing none, we will move on from debate and we'll launch the poll for this one. So your options here are Dion being the only candidate receiving a motion or no endorsement. And while we're casting our votes there, we do have results for Seattle City Council position 8. There were 57 votes cast in favor of Councilmember Rink for endorsement, 4 for Ray Rogers, and 3 for no endorsement, which means that Councilmember Rink has earned our endorsement with just over 89% of the vote. So congratulations, Councilmember Rink. All right, so we are ending that poll, and while we wait on results, we will move on to our next and final endorsement for this evening, which is for Seattle City Mayor. Are there motions to endorse candidates for Seattle City Mayor? Preston, your hand went up.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to consider endorsing Ry Armstrong on call.
Thank you, Preston. Is there a second for endorsing Ry Armstrong for mayor?
Second, Carla Rogers.
Thank you, Carla. Are there any other motions? Graham, I see your hands up.
Yes, I'd like to move that we endorse Katie Wilson for Seattle City Mayor.
Thank you, Graham. Is there a second for endorsing Katie Wilson for mayor?
Yes, I second.
Second.
Thank you, Patrick. Patrick McKee, I got you first, so I'll put you on my list. Are there any other motions to endorse candidates for Seattle City Mayor? Any other motions to endorse for Seattle Mayor? Any other motions to endorse for Seattle mayor? Okay, seeing none, we will consider motions to endorse closed. Preston, since you made the motion for Rye first, you can feel free to open up debate.
Sure, I'll just be very brief. I got to know Rye during the 2023 City Council election process. Rye is a stand-up person, really respect Rye's intelligence, and I'll see the rest of the time to Rye to speak to its endorsement.
Thank you, Preston, and hi, 34th. Pleasure to be here tonight. I'm honored to be here in front of you as a third-generation rank-and-file Seattle native and a national elected councilor for my union, representing 50,000 members nationwide, including many affected with what's happening in LA right now. Following in the footsteps of my mother's mother, Luella Armstrong, who will forever be my hero, I wanted to step up and be that same kind of trailblazer for our city, unapologetic and unafraid. So let's tell it as it is. Right now, families across Seattle struggle to make ends meet. Childcare is unaffordable, housing's out of reach, public safety is falling short, and workers are facing growing uncertainty under Trump's regime. In this present moment, we must prepare for resiliency instead of embracing business as usual status quo thinking. And as co-executive director of Sustainable Seattle, my work in environmental justice will continue all the way to City Hall. So first, we must invest decisively in affordable social housing and take swift action. Second, we must innovate public safety to expand social service and refocus on the right response. And finally, must expand affordable childcare to help working families stay in the city. I am prepared and ready to bleed for the city if necessary, and under my watch, Seattle will be fiercely protected. At a time when our country begins to change, we must stand our ground. So, when elected mayor, I'll be ready to fight on day one and give myself as a servant leader to our city. I know in my heart that real change takes real courage, and I ask to earn your endorsement tonight in this race because I believe that Seattle is worth fighting for. Thank you for your consideration. If you want to check out our website, it's armstrongforall.com, and I'd love to be considered. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Preston, and thank you, Rye. Are there any speakers against the endorsement of Rye Armstrong for Seattle mayor? Any speakers against the endorsement of Rye Armstrong for Seattle mayor? Any speakers against the endorsement of Rye Armstrong for Seattle mayor? Seeing no hands pop up, we will move on to debate on the endorsement of Katie Wilson. Graham, since you made the motion, feel free to open up debate.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. What we've just witnessed in the last few days, as Rye referenced, the U.S. military occupying an American city is nothing short of a declaration of war on our civil liberties. And I expect what happened in Los Angeles is soon going to happen here at our doorsteps in Seattle. And that's why we do need leaders who won't flinch, who won't be mealy-mouthed, and who won't wait around for permission to fight back. And that's why when Katie asked me to endorse her, or make a motion for her endorsement, I did not hesitate. She's a fighter. She's organized communities, raised the minimum wage across King County, helped pass Jumpstart. She has risen up against powerful interest and won. And she doesn't play it safe. She brings people together, speaks the truth, and delivers results. And that's the kind of leadership we need right now. I'm going to yield the rest of my time to Katie to share her story and ask for your vote.
Thank you, Graham, and great to be here, everyone. My name is Katie Wilson, and I'm running for mayor because the status quo is not good enough. We have more people living on Seattle streets and fewer shelter beds than we did 4 years ago. Rents keep climbing, and buying a home is out of reach for most families. We can do better on homelessness, we can do better on affordability, we can do better on public safety, and we can do better at protecting Seattle communities from the Trump administration. I've spent the last 14 years building powerful coalitions to win major victories that benefit working families. The Orca Lift low-income fare, the highest minimum wage in the country, stronger protections for renters, the Jumpstart tax, and much more. I've spent my career fighting alongside the regular people who make our city run, and I'm not done fighting because we deserve a mayor's office that leads with integrity and collaboration. I'm a renter, a transit rider, and a mom. I'm proud to have the sole endorsement of the King County Democrats and all of the legislative district groups that have endorsed so far, the 32nd, the 36th, and the 46th. In less than 3 months, we've raised over $400,000, and we're the #1 leading campaign in democracy voucher collection. We intend to win this race, and I would be honored to have your support.
Uh-oh.
Thank you, Graham, and thank you, Katie. Are there any speakers against the endorsement of Katie Wilson for mayor? Lisa, I see your hands up.
Hi, thank you, Jordan. My name is Lisa Dawson. I'm a third generation Seattleite. I've lived in the 34th for 21 years, and I'm the current fundraising chair. The role of Seattle mayor has a massive amount of responsibility and level of accountability that comes with leading a city that serves over 750,000 citizens, employs over 10,000 employees, and has a budget of over $8.5 billion. While Wilson's track record with the Transit Riders Union over the past 14 years is very admirable, the organization has an annual revenue of roughly $200,000 and employs, I believe, fewer than 10 people. It has been very hard to find specific practical experience or a plan to address any gaps in experience with running a city of our size. That gives me the confidence that Katie has the breadth of experience that will be required to be successful with the scale of the role of the Seattle mayor. That is my concern.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Are there any, we had Patrick McKee, you were the second for the motion, so you're welcome to speak for the endorsement of Katie for mayor.
I've been impressed by both these candidates as people. I have worked on things with Katie Wilson in the past, or she's spoken at events that I'm speaking at, and I've just been very, very impressed. And some of her endorsers are some of the people I have the most respect for in the city. So that's not ringing, but it's sincere.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. Are there any other speakers against the endorsement of Katie Wilson for Seattle mayor? Any more speakers against the endorsement of Katie Wilson for Seattle mayor? Any more speakers against the endorsement of Katie Wilson for Seattle mayor? Okay, seeing no more hands raised, we will move on to a vote. The candidates on your ballot will be the two who received motions. So there will be Raya Armstrong and Katie Wilson, as well as the option for no endorsement. And while these votes are coming in, we have some results for Seattle City Council position 9. There were 59 votes cast in favor of endorsing Dion Foster and 6 for no endorsement, which means that Dion has earned our endorsement with just shy of 91% of the vote. So congratulations, Dion. All right, so with that poll ended and with all of the other endorsements having concluded, we do not have any more results to report at this time until we get the ones back from that vote. So in the meantime, does anyone have anything for good of the order? Colton, I see your hands up.
Thanks, Jordan. I just wanted to make one statement really quickly, given kind of what transpired today, and with it being Pride Month, I just wanted to say when evangelical extremists took to Cal Anderson Park earlier this month, the heart of my queer community's neighborhood, and again at the start of Pride Month, no less, with a deliberate desire to intimidate and antagonize my queer existence and my queer family, Representative Thomas showed up at the counter protest at City Hall following what transpired to stand with my community. And she was the only member of our 34th delegation to do so. And at a time when the queer community has been relentlessly attacked, when Jack Scraton, a trans woman from Denver, Colorado, was just found a couple of days ago rotting in an alley, I want to thank Rep. Thomas for actively being on the front lines for us. If you're a queer person right now, I'm sure you share in the sentiment that it's been difficult to feel any joy this Pride Month. And for me, I don't want emails sharing solidarity for our community this Pride Month. I want to see action and active allyship. And Rep. Thomas has demonstrated that. And while I'm really disappointed with the outcome today, I just want to say I'm extremely proud to call her my representative. And I appreciate those who also stood today to try and show our support by uplifting our fellow representatives. So thank you.
Thank you, Colton. Anything else for good of the order?
Really quick, Jordan, our next pop-up social is this coming, no, sorry, 2 Fridays away on the 27th, Friday the 27th, 5:30 at Welcome Road Winery. We're going to do a winery this time. I think that's the first time we've ever done that. It's on California, and I hope to see you there.
Thanks, Carla. So we have some results for the Seattle mayor's endorsement vote. So there were 33 votes cast for Katie Wilson's endorsement, 13 for Wright Armstrong, and 16 for no endorsement, which means that none of the candidates, and as well as the option for no endorsement, reached the threshold for support. So we'll automatically roll into a second ballot, and that second ballot will include only Katie Wilson and Wright Armstrong.
Excuse me, that was 16, no endorsement.
Correct, 16 for no endorsement.
Jordan, Elizabeth Heath has her hand up.
Yes, Elizabeth, what do you got?
Hi, I just want to invite everyone to the June meeting of the West Seattle Democratic Women. It is Thursday, the 26th of June at the golf course. And we will have a candidates forum for the county exec. So since it's such a close race with great candidates, come and join us in a more informal setting and hear what they have to say. So there's going to be an invitation going out from Ann Martin soon. I welcome everyone from the 34th to join us. There's a dinner. There's a meeting at 5 to have a discussion about some important topic, which we'll decide on tomorrow morning. And then dinner, and then the candidates forum. So join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Yeah. Am I heard?
Go ahead, Ann.
This is Ann Martin, and I will be hosting a garden party for democracy vouchers at my house on June 24th from 5 to 7. And if anybody is interested, I think we will get it into the communications so that you can get your details and get into the, wait, that was that our
You're being played off. Ann.
Okay. Yeah.
Your time is up.
Anyway, watch for it in the communications. Thank you.
Thank you. And Caden, what's going on?
Apologies, can you just repeat the position 9 Seattle City Council numbers?
Yes, so there were 59 votes cast in favor of Dion Foster and 6 for no endorsement. So Dion got our endorsement with just shy of 91% of the vote.
Thank you.
All right, so the mayor ballot number 2 has ended. We will be sharing results shortly. In the meantime, we can continue with any more good of the order if anyone else has anything.
Caden Cook has her hand up.
Caden just went and asked about the position 9 race. Steve, what's going on?
Me?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, yeah, if you're not going to be going to No King's March, we will have a booth at the Morgan Junction Festival on Saturday. Also, we will be in Burien for both the 14th and the 15th. We'll have a booth there, and we'll be there to support our Burien City Council candidates. So come on out to either one of those or both or whatever. So thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Rachel, what do you got?
I do want to speak about the No Kings March, which is going to be this Saturday at Cal Anderson Park. The rally starts at 12 noon, and there are going to be speakers, including Congresswoman, our very own Pramila Jayapal. I am organizing a contingency from the 34th Dems to attend that so that we can show our strength, our power, and our numbers by meeting. And I will be available with my phone for texting me if you are having trouble finding us, but I will find you all so that I can bring us all together. Please consider coming in light of the fact that we are in some really scary times right now as far as our own human rights, and this is for everybody's human rights. It is really important that we all engage and show up and voice our extreme displeasure with what is going on.
You had your headset on.
What? Sorry.
Yes, everyone muted himself. You can keep going, Rachel.
Our extreme displeasure and horror at what is going on and what is being visited upon us as folks who live in this country. So please consider showing up. If you have any questions, you can contact me. I would like to put my name and my contact information in the chat, but Carla, can you do that with the Vice Chair 1 at 34dems.org? I would love to have you join us and so that our LD can have a really strong showing this Saturday at Cal Anderson Park. Thanks, everyone. Vice Chair 1 at 34dems.org.
Thank you, Rachel. Councilmember.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, wonderful. I wanted to echo what Rachel just said. Strongly encourage folks to come out. Obviously, this is critical times. We know that the administration is using every tool in their toolbox to try to create division in our communities, especially amongst those who are the most vulnerable. And I think it's a great opportunity to show a united front, especially this weekend. So proud that the 34th is out there in strong force. We were on a call earlier today with members of the labor community and immigrant rights community. I just want to emphasize some of the points that we were making to each other in that call. It's so important for us to continue to encourage everybody to Remain calm, especially when we have ICE issuing announcements through the press that they are planning to deploy special response teams to 5 Democratic cities, Seattle being at the top of that list. We want to do everything we can to not play into their hands and their playbook by remaining calm and having peaceful protests. I know that that is at the heart and the core of what 34th does, but to the extent that we can continue to remind folks through any channels that we have that we want to ensure that this is a peaceful protest and not to give the Trump administration any excuse to use excessive force, which we have seen them use in LA, and we anticipate them wanting to provoke the use of here. So thank you again for all of the work that the 34th has done to stand up, to call out the oppression that this administration is imposing, to show a united front with immigrants, with workers, with vulnerable community members, and just a special call to say, please continue to issue those calls of peaceful action to anybody who we have a distribution list to, and for all of our employers and entrepreneurs to remember to post a private only area within your places of employment. That way, if ICE does not have a warrant signed by a judge, they cannot enter private areas of employment. Okay, just one quick reminder for that. And of course, you have great tools from the Washington Immigrant Solidarity Network, WISN, and Northwest Immigrant Rights Project, and so many others. Just a quick reminder from the call that we had today with labor and immigrant rights groups. Thanks so much, and solidarity.
Thank you, Councilmember Mosqueda. So we have some results for the Seattle mayor's endorsement. So there were 36 votes cast in favor of Katie Wilson, 15 in favor of Rye Armstrong, which means that Katie Wilson has earned our endorsement with over 70% of the vote. So congratulations, Katie. With that, our endorsements for this evening are concluded. We can continue with good of the order if anyone else has anything. I'll give people a moment to raise their hands. Anything else for good of the order? All right, Steve, what's going on?
Would you repeat the tally for the mayor?
Yes, 36 in favor of Katie Wilson, 15 for Rye Armstrong. So Katie had precisely 70.59% of the vote.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Not seeing any other hands pop up, we can call this meeting adjourned at 8:50 p.m. Thank you all for sticking this out. We did a great job, and for cheering. Joe McDermott.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you.
So sorry to be chiming in late on the good of the order and comments, but I'd appreciate the bylaws committee and endorsements committee considering our voting process, wherein we just had a vote for mayor's race, where now we have an endorsed candidate that has a smaller number of the overall members of this organization supporting them for the race. And for someone who wasn't supporting one of the two candidates in the last ballot, it was tough to know how to vote if you wanted the organization to not take a position. Just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. With that, we will call this meeting adjourned at 8:50. Again, thank you all for sticking this out with us. Congratulations to all the candidates who earned our endorsement, and we'll see you all next time.